the aspects related to the list, tuple, dictionary, uh, and row also. So row is very specific to the PySpark. Okay, at times, there is some possibility of instant creation of the data frame. In that case, either you can go with the list, tuple, or dictionary or row, whichever you want. All the possibilities we are having. So accordingly, you can mention that data frame. And if you observe, guys, so far only we have created a single liner, except that dictionary. In all the other cases, we are using that individual or single line columns. But there is a possibility of creating a data frame with multiple columns. Maybe I am working with some kind of the project. Let me show you what is my idea. I want to create a project details where I'm making use of a list. And with this particular list, again, I can create one more list inside. So list of list. So just I'm using course ID and the name of the course or project details. And then I'm giving my project ID as one or two. The technology related to that project is Scala. And similarly, another project in the pipeline. Maybe as I said, it is a the senior members I have to allocate for this project. Like that, I am giving the names without any confusion. The mid level members, um, some Hadoop ecosystem and all. And for the senior members, I'm having a project like ML. Okay. So Spark, Scala, PySpark, Hadoop, and as well as the machine learning. This is if you run through, so just if you are running this thing, and if you are making use of type of project details, just you will be getting the list. Okay, so list of list specifies that at times maybe I want to perform some kind of the activities where I require some multiple informations, maybe a project ID, project name, or client name. Okay, like that, if I want to perform, just I can make use of this list of list information. And as usual, once this is created, the project details has been created. Now I may use this Spark dot create data frame of whatever the details I'm having, project details. And now the point, guys. Maybe in the earlier examples, we have given some schema. Now this particular project details is containing multiple entries. Okay, IDs and as well as the this integer and string kind of thing. In such case, how do I refer the schema? It is quite interesting, friends, and which is quite useful also. You can explicitly mention some kind of the ID for the column project ID, which is the integer common. And next thing is, of course, technology I'm using, which is a string kind of thing. Now have a look on this, guys. We are not individually picking the appropriate code, but in a combination. In the entire combination, we are placing the appropriate name of the column along with the data type so as to refer the schema. And as per the definition of the data frame also, initially I'm having some data set. Along with the data set, if I'm able to apply, if I'm assigning some schema, it becomes the data frame. So now I am creating the data frame. One more point, if you observe, I'm not assigning this outcome to any of other data frame. In fact, this particular thing only creates the data frame, but temporarily it is generating. It is not going to store anyway because as we are not mentioning any outcome. At times, if I want to temporarily generate some kind of the data frame and I don't want to store that particular data permanently, then I can go and make use of this convention. So see here, even I am not storing also, no problem. What it is saying, you have created a data frame and with the project ID as integer, technology of type string. This is of course a kind of schema representation. Now, if I want to display the details as I have not stored anywhere, direct option is also there, friends. Spark dot Same thing, create data frame, project details. And now we need to mention the appropriate schema details. Okay, and technology stack I'm using. Just you can make use of this, and directly you can use the show. So this is a form of a pipeline print actually. So the advantage here is in this first turn, it is going to create some data frame, and the data frame, whatever the data frame generating, we are applying some method where I want to display the content of that data frame. So here two operations I am connecting. I am pipelining two operations. One is the data frame creation, and we are connecting that another thing. So the benefit of this object orientation, or this is something like pipelining kind of aspect, is multiple operations can be tagged into a single liner. Okay, now if you run this, then obviously we'll be getting the appropriate thing, project ID and technology. Related to the corresponding ID, I'll be using the appropriate technology stack corresponding to each and every project. This is one way of creating the multi-column structure. Let me use the same thing in a slight different manner I want to use. Now, what I want to do is, rather than taking the list, there is one more possibility for us, list of tuples. Now, only the change is I need to change the brackets. Okay, so obviously it becomes the tuple. Okay, multiple tuples I can make use, just one or two scala. So just instead of this thing, you can make use of this. And again, okay, so see how flexible the usage of this thing, rather than again uh, observing. So just with the simple change of these brackets, one can conclude. Now, if you refer this thing, ultimately the type of this project details is um, observe here, friends. The type of this project details is now list only. It's not the tuple. Okay, but the project details, okay, of zero if I am giving, if you see, it is picking up the first element actually. So zero is subscript, first subscript, second subscript, third subscript, and fourth subscript. Now, the one more flexibility is project details, as just now I have seen, project details of 4, the last option, 301 ml. Now, if you apply the type on top of this, okay, on top of this, you can easily expect, guys. If I am as a whole, if I am seeing, it is giving the list. Okay, because this is a definitely this kind of brackets refer the list, and inside that list, I am making use of the tuples. So what I am doing here, guys, just I am picking up a particular unit, and we pretty know that this unit is the tuple. Let me identify whether it is a again it is giving list or tuple. Yes, this is a tuple. So the point here is while creating a list, suppose list one, just I'm creating 10, some kind of names, and thereafter the skill set and the wing, the data science. Like that, I'm having some details. It's a combination of yeah, many details. Okay, so the heterogeneous data, and definitely it is a type of list. Now, list one of suppose I want to get the qualification. I'm giving list one of two. Okay, this is the 0th subscript, first subscript, second subscript, or index, I can say. So while making use of any data structure with the help of the indexing, so because once you store the data, there are always possibilities of fetching that particular data. Okay, so while fetching that particular data with the help of the indexing, I can able to refer and fetch the corresponding data. Now the observation, other observation is, especially if you are making use of some kind of the internal elements. and all those elements belongs to the tuple. These are all belongs to the tuple. We pretty know that. And these tuples were placed in the list actually. As a whole, if you are seeing this project details, it is a list kind of the data structure. But whereas individually, uh, Python and as well as PySpark allows us to pick up the individual items also. So in that particular case, what you can do, friends, just you can specify the index value. Remember that always Python index starts from zero. So zero index language Python. So and if you are giving the like that zero, one, two, three, fourth index. Fourth index is obviously 301 comma ML product is on that. Now, if you refer that particular element and I want to check the type of that particular element, you can make use of this thing. There is a tuple orientation. Okay, type of project details of phone, just it gives the tuple kind of the data. In a similar way, a list may not be restricted to list or tuple, may not be restricted to a single data item or single thing. Maybe employee ID and years of experience 10.7, like that I'm having, and I'm making use of this convention. Okay, so you can either include integer, string kind of the data, floating values, anything can be embedded because list is not having any restriction of homogeneous kind of the data. Okay. So based on that convention, one can easily specify in what way you are going to perform the activities, some list of tuples or list of list. All these kind of the conventions can be observed. Now, the quite interesting aspects friends, already we have seen, but again, in terms of the project, just I want to mention this way. I want to mention this dictionary list of dictionary. Earlier, we have seen some simple example. Now, what I want to do is I want to establish a kind of the data frame where that data frame allows us the orientation of the dictionary. If you consider all the earlier things in the list of list, what we have seen, there are some project IDs and technology stack, and even in case of the tuple also, the same kind of the convention. But now the advantage of the dictionary is, as I said earlier, is a key value pair actually. Is a key and as well as a value pair. So now let us understand this. How do I create a data frame by incurring these kind of the dictionaries along with the list notation? Now I am making use of some more convention. I'm creating a project details. This is object, it's not the data frame, friends. And I'm making use of the list. Okay. So in between, just what I'm doing is I want to create a dictionary. Dictionaries are created with the curly braces, flower brackets. Okay, this is the dictionary actually. And if I want to create a list, then I should use the bigger brackets. And if I want to create a tuple, I should use the smaller brackets. Okay, this is the way of understanding. Now, with respect to this dictionary, what I'm doing here is I want to give the project ID and key value pair in the colon. I have to specify project ID 101, and the technology stack I'm using is of course PySpark project I'm having. If I'm referencing the string, then I should embed that string into the single quote. Comma. Just this time, I want to introduce one more thing: the client information also, because maybe we are having some kind client calls, and we should be ready for that. Okay, all those kind of the things. Now, once this is over, just I should mention the comma, and I can make use of the convention, same approach. So as many things I can create. Okay, so just for the sake of understanding, just I'm creating some. Currently, we're having assume that five major projects. So here I'm having my one or two project. The technology stack is Scala, or else I can say like this Hadoop. Client might be just we are having some product with us and we are ourselves we are making use of that product. And coming to the next level project, the technology stack, of course, PySpark. The client might be SEO. Okay. Now we are having some other project for the mid-level members, and I'm having the maybe like this Hadoop map reduce. And here you need to have maybe HDFS Hive kind of thing, assume that. Okay, so some description related to the technology. The client-wise Hadoop map reduce. So just I can give this thing as some client. And third thing, however, we're having the 301 technologies like this, maybe MLlib with PySpark, client is database solver. Now you see here, guys, here it's pretty simple. This is because in the earlier case, we are not having any chance of mentioning the labels for the data. So our dictionary is pretty similar to pretty handy to this um, uh, data frame actually. So many a times, because the reason is simple. One is first reason is the dictionary creation itself gives the clarity about the data what we are working on. Because here we are having the project ID and technology and as well as the client information. Then obviously one can easily refer that, oh, we are working on this kind of the data. Second important thing is the schema and the arrangement of the data is automatic with the dictionary. Automatically, the data frame is going to patch that thing in a nicer way if I'm using the dictionary as a source data. So as per our convention, just we have created this details. Now, if I'm getting the type, yes, as you expected, it gives two kind of things. One is a list. Basically, it is a list. And if you are getting the data, and moreover, just if I am getting this kind of the data, just we are getting only the first record. Okay, in terms of the list, it is the 0th index and it is the second index, like that it goes on. Now, on top of this thing, if I'm checking the type, okay, project details of 0, obviously, as you expected, it gives the dictionary kind of the data. So as a whole, maybe it is a list, but after that, if I'm picking up a particular element, that's how I manage the things. Okay, because as a whole, I'm interested to create a list, and within that particular list, I want to perform some kind of the activity related to the dictionary. So the key value pair orientation, just you can make use of that convention of how I am using the dictionary. Now the point is I want to create a data frame. So the principle is quite simple. Project details, and I'm not worried about the schema and all. See, automatically it is providing client as string, project ID as big integer, technology as string. Okay. Now I want to display the content. So here the pipeline of the operation, create data frame, some project details. Just I want to show the details. So simply it is generating some kind of the data, client, project ID, and technology. In the row and column based fashion, it is giving the details of the creation. Okay. Just so far, if I need to give the appropriate things we have provided, we have created the data frame with the list, and then we have used the tuple to create the data frame. And third thing, we have used the dictionary to create the data frame. And fourth one, we have used the RDD. RDD creation we have done, and data frame with the help of that one. And we have used some row actually to create the data frame. Apart from that, we have used some list of list to create the data frame, and list of tuple to create the data frame, and list of dictionary latest. We have created the data frame. Okay, so that is a simple narration. One more option I want to give you guys, like all these things except this row, all are belonging to the category of the Python data structures. But there is a most famous library in Python. Hope you might be knowing this thing, which is a pandas. So pandas basically gives the series and data frame objects, actually objects or references. If you refer, the definition remains same in either case. A data frame is a row and column-wise tabular representation where it is very flexible to store and access and process the data. So that is remains same. But now the point is, many at times, as there is a closer communication between Python and as well as the Spark, can I make use of the Pandas data frame as a source to Spark data frame? Because at times, maybe in our team we are having some Python developers, and combination of that Spark and MapReduce or Hive kind of the developers. So in that particular case, again, you need not reinvent the wheel. Whatever the Pandas created data frame I'm having, I can make use of that same thing in my application. So that is also quite handy whenever there are certain Python developers in our team and we are making use of those their services also. Okay, without again creating a multi aspects or multiple times the same work. To avoid the rework, we can make use of that. But in all the earlier kind of the things, maybe the list and dictionary or this tuple, we need not import anything, friends, because they are all by default data structure provided by Python. But when it comes to the usage of the pandas, I should import some library. Okay, import pandas as PD. So generally, this thing is the alias name, friends. Actually, PD is the alias name. You need not every time refer pandas, something like that. Because if you go back to the first line of the code, this code, I need not use every time this Spark session dot builder dot not it's not required. Only the thing is entire things are conservative to this Spark. Okay, all these things are intuited to this particular object. Similarly, here also, now what I can do is, as I am using this PD as the alias name for this pandas, now onwards I can directly use that PD information. Okay. Now we are having some project details with us. Okay. If you see these project details, I'm having all these ID of the project and technology stack we are using. And of course, this is in fact a list of tuples actually. So let me use this as a base for my pandas data frame. Um, what I'm doing here is, guys, I want to convert these project details into pandas data frame, and then simple pd dot. There is a class data frame where I can give this project details as a kind of argument. Now you see here in the earlier case, spark dot create data frame is the method so as to create the data frame. But in case of the pandas, what I can do is, as PD is alias name for the pandas from this statement, what I want to do is I want to generate a data frame by using these details. Okay, whatever the details I'm having. Now these details again I'm placing into the uh, a new object. Okay, I cannot say that as a yeah. Of course, this becomes a kind of object. Let me see what is the type of that thing. And we have created that type of project details PD. Okay, so this is the pandas core frame dot data frame. It's not the data frame of the Spark. Suppose if you go back and if you verify uh, here, what I'm doing here is type of uh, this thing. This gives the pyspark.sql.data frame. Okay, pyspark.sql.data frame. Whereas if you see this kind of the notation, it is giving the details of pandas.core.frame.frame. So let me uh, put this on the chat window so that you can make use of the convention. So the comparison. Okay, so how do I relate these two kind of the aspects? Because there are quite similar properties between the pandas and all the things. Just you can make use of that convention. This is one thing. And another thing is just you can observe the uh, data frame orientation with respect to this thing actually. Okay, the PySpark orientation. So the data frames are quite natural, are quite simple in the understanding. Maybe that is either Pandas data frame or PySpark data frame. Only the thing is we need to observe that how we can make use of that object. Because as we are talking about various ways of creating the data frame, this is also one of the ways. But now you see this project underscore details PD is the data frame. Definitely it is a data frame, but it is a pandas based data frame. But our requirement is I need to have the PySpark based data frame. There is a differentiation. No? Though they are data frames, the context of the this data frame is in pandas. Okay, and the context of our required data frame is in PySpark. Now, from this point, okay, as expected, yes, of course, we can whatever the details I'm having. So now, if you print this data frame, see, friend, there is a clear distinction. Compared with the PySpark data frame, it is a colorful thing, like it is providing us all the default indexing. And as I am not mentioning any kind of the schema, it's simply assign that 0th column, first column, something like that. Now, our aim is how do I make use of this data frame into my Spark data frame? Simple. Spark dot create data frame of project details dot pd. Now, I want to directly show the information. Now you can see the distinction, friends. Even while working with both the data frames, you can clearly observe that this is the data frame under the pandas. Okay, there is a clear distinction. Whereas in our data frame, we are having a simple tabular representation with these kind of the understanding. So, but of course, without any hassle, without any problem, you can able to send this entire data frame to the create data frame method, and in a way, you can make use of the convention. And one more important property I want to share with you here. So, have a look on this, guys. Create data frame of what is this project details underscore PD. No? Yes. Dot there is some method called print schema actually. So just you can see here, if you are unable to verify what is the data type and all the things, because as you are not giving anything by default, Spark also assigns some kind of the data types based on the kind of the data. So it is providing long and as well as the string type of the data. Your first column belongs to long. As you are not specifying anything, it becomes long. Otherwise, it is becomes the nullable. And similarly, if you go back and see, we are having this project details friends actually. Okay, these project details are having like this. Now, what I want to do is um, I want to make use of this project details underscore PD. Okay, so now PD dot data frame of I'm giving this thing as a project details. Uh, now, so let me see how I can make use of this convention, project details underscore PD. Now, the dictionary, the entire dictionary, just to remember that my project ID, technology, client, all these kind of the conventions now become a pandas data frame. So from this, I want to create the Spark data frame, uh, project details underscore PDs. Okay, so just I want to view the content. Okay, so just, you can easily observe friends. Okay, so no matter whether I'm using which kind of the data, uh, in this case, as a 0 and 1, it's quite odd to see that. Either you need to explicitly mention the schema or you should adjust with these things. But if you observe this example, okay, there is no 0, 1, 2 kind of thing. Directly from the dictionary, Spark is able to pick up that particular data and it is able to assign the kind of the narration related to the things. Okay. So just if you are making use of this convention, all these are all certain ways of working with uh, the creation of the data frame. Now, let me conclude this thing. Just if you are making use of this thing, and next you can, what you can do is from pandas df also, you can create spark df. Okay, this is another kind of the representation. And pandas df again use the argument as either a list of tuples or list or list of dictionaries, whichever the convention. So based on that kind of conventions, you can mention the representations. Okay. So this is the way how you can specify the usage of dictionaries and all these kind of the conventions. And these are all pretty simple, guys. Like whatever the way we are using the data items and how we are picking up the data according to our requirement. Except that particular row, all the things we have used are dependent on the Python. So just with the simple knowledge of the Python, okay, then just by knowing the list, okay, is a data structure where you can store the heterogeneous kind of the data. Tuple that is also similar to list, but no modifications allowed in tuple, and it is also supporting heterogeneous. And then we are having most important and most useful construct or data structure, dictionary. The dictionary mainly provides the key value pair kind of the data. So there are certain benefits where if I am giving the dictionary to the appropriate pyspark create data frame, so just it automatically adjusts the corresponding schema according to the specification just by giving the names of the keys, okay, as a column names. So this is how you can refer and understand the orientations. Now let me conclude the session by key takeaways, because before the break also I have not given the key takeaways so that you can recollect and you can wind we can wind up this session. So the key takeaways from the beginning, this is quite a heterogeneous kind of the discussion we had. Let me show you that. So initially we started the discussion with RDD creation. There are parallelize, and there are of course another thing is with text files. In these two ways, you can observe your RDD orientation. The second thing what we have done is in the Spark object creation, either I can use the master, and your master is maybe add or a local or Spark. Either of the things you can use. Third thing is we have discussed about RDD features, and there we studied about the lineage, resilience, all these kind of the properties, and which is having the properties of distribution and support of structured and semi-structured data. Of course, it is mainly performing the low-level kind of the activity. Especially, it is dependent on the Spark context. There are and partition based kind of the logic we have observed. This is the RDD feature. And in the architecture, so just we are having the RDD and we are having the partition, and these partitions are again running on the task. So these tasks again having some kind of the executor. Okay, so this executor contain task one, task two, like that. Okay, so this is the worker node. So this observation we have seen. And coming to the next aspect, the most useful construct in the PySpark is a data frame. Is a kind of row column wise representation of the data, and of course it is also distributed in nature, and it is having the source data as I can use the JSON or Hive or .csv. Okay, all these kind of the data sources I can use. And it is also having some structured or semi-structured data processing. I'll give you some examples on JSON and CSV also, friends, which is quite helpful to you. And this is the, of course, from the data frame also many features we have seen, which is supporting mainly the API support. Okay, maybe it is streaming or else, the libraries like data engineering or data science libraries, almost all kind of the applications use the data frames. Now the thing is data frame creation. Many things we have seen. Just to recollect, with the list we have created the data frame, which is the Python data structure, and we try to create the tuple and with the dictionary, and thereafter we have seen with the row also, and at times we have seen with the RDD also. This is one flavor, and multi-column. Okay, multi-column data frame. So just we have seen some list of list, and then we have seen list of tuples. Okay, so and at times this is quite handy, list of dictionary, and we have seen some with the help of pandas data frame also I can able to create. So these are all various learnings in this session, guys. So just this is just you have a look on this, because this is the point where you can venture your learning both RTD and as well as the data frame. And in the tomorrow session, most important and helpful constructs, I will try to complete transformations in the tomorrow session, and I will try to complete optimizations in the Friday session, so that so we can complete the training. Uh, so the next session topic is just I'm having the transformations, and we'll be having both narrow and as well as the wide. We'll see those kind of the things. And quite naturally, we are using the actions also. Actions, something like count or take, all these things we have used actually. But some more actions I'll try to scope in the tomorrow session. Okay, so that you can observe that in what way I'm saying the transformation is a lazy kind of thing. Okay, with this, can stop here, guys. So if you are having any doubts, please let me know. Now itself, or else, as usual, you can share your doubts in Teams. Okay, so that I can respond in a way. Okay, so that's all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Stop the recording.
Thank you, sir.